Here's a brutal truth no one teaches you. Money doesn't come from formulas, luck, or memorizing shallow savings hacks. Wealth is not for the obedient, it's for those sharp enough to shatter poor habits. If you believe that working hard alone will make you rich, you're just lulling yourself into complacency. Wealth doesn't appear. It is forged by cold thinking, smart behavior, and razor-sharp discipline. This is the financial map no school ever gave you, but one you should have had all along. And now that you're here, this might be the first time you see money not as math, but as strategy. Now let's strip away the illusions, one by one, with 10 truths you wish you'd learned sooner, but still have time to master. Money doesn't follow math. Lesson 1. Money is not about math. It's about behavior. Most people fail financially, not because they're bad at math, but because they're weak against emotion. Budgets don't break from miscalculations. They collapse under the pressure of, I deserve this. It's not numbers that destroy bank accounts. It's unresolved emotional hunger. That's why spreadsheets can't save you. That's why financial literacy isn't enough. You lose to the feeling, not the logic. And the harsh truth? You don't need better numbers. You need better control. The most dangerous debt isn't financial. It's emotional. If you don't master that, your wealth will always slip through your hands, no matter how well you plan. Real wealth begins in silence. It's built when no one's watching. Saying no to upgrades when your account grows, that's discipline. Saving even when it feels pointless, that's commitment. Reinvesting when you'd rather flex, that's power. Money doesn't reward intelligence, it rewards consistency. People don't win because they know more. They win because they behave better, longer. Behavior is what separates those who build wealth from those who just dream about it. And the tragedy is this: most people are looking for magic numbers when they should be hunting down their habits. Fix your patterns, and the money will follow. Want to get rich? Forget calculators. Start watching your own impulses. How do you act when you get paid? When you're stressed? When someone else shows off? That's the truth. Not in your income, but in your reactions. Wealth is built in those moments where you could blow it, but don't. The rich aren't perfect, they're protected. They've built behavioral systems to defend against their worst instincts. You don't need genius, you need structure. Wealth doesn't come from knowing, it comes from doing the hard, boring things over and over until your results compound. And they will. If you behave like a builder, you're not losing time, you're losing wealth. Lesson 2. Respect the time value of money. Waiting is the sweetest poison in finance. Every day you say, I'll start tomorrow, is a day you're robbing your future self. Not starting early doesn't just cost you time, it erases the entire cycle of compounding. This isn't about being slow, it's about silently going broke. The smart ones understand, $1 today is worth more than $5 tomorrow, if invested wisely. The question is, are you delaying action and unknowingly setting your legacy on fire? Time isn't just ticking, it's compounding for someone. If it's not working for you, it's working against you. And the price is staggering. You don't need a lot of money to start, you need time. And the earlier you leverage it, the shorter the path to freedom becomes. The point isn't who invests more, it's who invests sooner. For every year you wait, you're not just missing interest, you're losing the chance for those returns to multiply across decades. One small delay today becomes a 10-year setback tomorrow. The wealthy don't wait for perfection, they act with what they have because they know delay is just disguised destruction. Time doesn't forgive and it doesn't refund. Use it now or watch it punish you later. The mantra of the broke, I'll start later. The mantra of the wealthy, I can't afford to wait. That is the dividing line. Every time you delay investing, learning, or building income, you're discarding wealth you haven't even seen yet. You're erasing future options. Time isn't an infinite resource. It's an asset depreciating by the second. And you don't get to hit rewind. If you don't act now, there may be nothing left to act on later. Compound growth rewards the early. And if you show up too late, it won't care how smart or desperate you are. It'll move on. Saving is not a goal, it's a strategy. Lesson 3. Don't just save. Assign every dollar a job. Blind saving is one of the greatest financial traps in disguise. You think you're being responsible, but really, you're just locking money in a drawer with no plan. A savings account without direction is a treasure chest buried without a map. The wealthy don't save to feel secure. They save with purpose. Every dollar is deployed, not stored. It has a mission: to grow, to protect, or to pounce on opportunity. Saving without a plan is just slow-motion failure. If your money isn't working, it's dying. And if you don't tell it where to go, it will quietly vanish. Money without guidance is money gone rogue. Having cash just sitting there for comfort is proof of a weak strategy. The rich don't hoard, they mobilize. They organize their cash into categories: emergency reserves, investment capital, opportunity funds, tax buffers. They don't dump everything into one account and hope for the best. They design systems. They automate decisions. They make cash flow with structure. You don't need more money. You need better instructions for the money you already have. When you treat every dollar like a soldier with a purpose, your finances stop drifting and start scaling. Purpose transforms everything. The question is not, am I saving, but what is this money supposed to do? If you can't answer that, don't be surprised when your savings stall or disappear. Financial intelligence isn't about how much you have, it's about knowing exactly why you have it. Each dollar without a job is a missed opportunity. You don't build wealth by hoarding. You build it by deploying strategically. Every dollar, every time, without exception. Cash without a mission is chaos, and chaos kills momentum. Saving is not where the journey ends. It's where the blueprint begins. Give your money a job, or it will quit. Financial toxins come from your circle. Lesson 4. Your net worth shapes your net worth. Want to know what your bank account will look like in 5 years? Look at the conversations you're having today. If your environment is filled with people obsessed with spending, complaining, and escaping reality, then don't expect your financial results to look any different. Mindsets are contagious. Every interaction with the wrong person is a subtle injection of financial poison. The uncomfortable truth? You cannot outperform the expectations of your environment. If you hang around people who normalize debt, waste, and mediocrity, you will slowly inherit those standards. Wealth demands intentional company. Your circle isn't just influence, it's infrastructure. The wealthy don't randomly make friends, they curate ecosystems. They treat their social circle like an investment portfolio. Remove toxic assets, add high-return relationships. They don't waste time in conversations about paycheck gossip or luxury cravings. They spend time with people who talk about ideas, strategy, ownership, and freedom. You don't have to cut people off, but you absolutely must supplement. Read books that elevate you. Follow thinkers who challenge you. Join communities that speak your future, not your fears. Let your daily environment echo your goals. Otherwise, it'll keep replaying your excuses. You rise or rot based on proximity. Your mind is financial soil. If you plant envy, debt, and consumerism, don't expect a harvest of freedom. But if you nourish it with long-term thinking, smart dialogue, and aspirational energy, growth becomes inevitable. Who do you turn to when money feels overwhelming? Who pushes you to aim higher? Who makes you question if your dreams are still too small? That's your financial mirror. The people around you either expand or shrink your possibilities. Choose wisely. Because in the end, you're not just growing assets, you're absorbing identities. And most fortunes are built or buried by the voices we normalize. Poverty thinking is more dangerous than market crashes. Lesson 5. Your money needs a mental firewall. The market won't ruin you, your reaction to it will. A 20% drop won't kill your wealth, but panic will. Most portfolios aren't destroyed by economics, they're wrecked by emotion. The rich know this, which is why they build a mental firewall, a structure designed to block fear, greed, and impulse before it can sabotage everything. Financial ruin rarely comes from bad numbers, it comes from bad responses. A single irrational move can undo a decade of progress. The most expensive decision is the one made in chaos, and if you don't protect yourself from yourself, no market can ever save you. A mental firewall is a psychological defense system, and it has 3 layers: automation, principles, and emotional control. Auto-investing eliminates hesitation. Predefined plans eliminate chaos. Ignoring the news eliminates noise. Every layer is a buffer between your money and your mood. You don't need to be stronger than your emotions. You need a structure that stops them before they speak. The rich don't avoid fear. They out-strategize it. They aren't fearless. They're pre-planned. Discipline isn't about willpower. It's about not needing willpower at all. When the system is solid, panic can knock, but it doesn't get in. That's how wealth stays intact. Without psychological defense, people self-sabotage the very assets they spent years building. The wealthy aren't lucky. They're prepared. They don't have fewer emotions, they just refuse to let those emotions touch their money. Remember this. The first rule of compounding is don't interrupt it. Don't interrupt it with fear. Don't interrupt it with greed. Don't interrupt it with news cycles. Your brain can either be your greatest asset or your most destructive liability. Build the firewall before the fire comes, because once panic takes the wheel, wealth has already exited the vehicle. Defense is not optional. It's survival. Money doesn't corrupt, it reveals. Lesson 6. Money doesn't change you, it reveals you. Money doesn't turn people bad. It simply removes the mask. If you're reckless when you're broke, wealth will magnify your chaos. Many believe they'll become generous, disciplined, or wise once they're rich. False. Money doesn't invent character. It amplifies it. It doesn't fix your flaws. It showcases them. People don't self-destruct because they got rich. They self-destruct because they never built the foundation to handle it. Wealth is not the reward, it's the test. And most people fail it loudly. If you're not built to carry the weight of wealth, money won't bless you. It'll expose and eventually break you. The truly wealthy don't just invest in assets, they invest in identity. They grow self-awareness like they grow their portfolio. They develop values, emotional strength, and internal leadership. Because without that core, even millions crumble fast. How many people win the lottery only to lose it all? How many overnight successes implode? The money wasn't the issue. The person was. Real wealth requires personal growth. Otherwise, your bank account might grow while your character stays bankrupt. And when that happens, financial collapse is inevitable. Not from loss, but from self-inflicted disaster. Rich minds prepare, shallow minds perform. That's the difference. Before asking, how do I get rich? Ask, am I someone wealth can trust? It's a question most fear to face, because money will always test your roots. It will find your cracks, it will exploit your habits. If your identity is unstable, wealth becomes a spotlight on dysfunction. But if you've done the inner work, money becomes a tool, not a threat. It becomes leverage, not liability. You don't just earn wealth, you become someone who attracts and protects it. Build yourself and the money stays, neglect yourself and it leaves. The equation is brutal, but it's fair. Saying no is a financial survival skill. Lesson 7. The power of saying no. Wealth is not built by saying yes to everything. In fact, saying yes too often is exactly why most people stay broke. Every shiny opportunity, every urgent pitch, every feel-good expense. If you can't say no, you will bleed. Every yes has a cost. The rich win because they're ruthless with their focus. They say no to distractions, hype, and social pressure disguised as obligation. They understand that saying no is not negativity, it's strategy. Your time, your money, your energy are limited currencies. The undisciplined burn them. The successful guard them with silence. Your net worth is shaped by your refusals. Each yes is a trade-off. Say yes to reckless investments. Say goodbye to long-term compounding. Say yes to lifestyle upgrades. Say goodbye to capital. Say yes to every opportunity that excites you. Say goodbye to your goals. The wealthy don't chase everything. They filter everything. They evaluate, they discard, they delay. Most people drown in options. The rich operate with intention. They pick a direction and protect it at all costs. They don't fear missing out. They fear being derailed. Saying no isn't rejection, it's preservation. It's not about playing small, it's about protecting the game you're actually trying to win. Want to elevate your finances? Start by writing down your top 3 goals. Now, look back at what you said yes to this month. Did it move you closer or distract you completely? That's your answer. Clarity isn't found in new opportunities, it's found in better boundaries. Saying no won't make you popular, but it will make you powerful. The world wants your attention, your money, your mind. If you don't learn to guard it, you'll become a casualty in someone else's plan. The rich don't win by adding more. They win by subtracting what doesn't align. A 10-year vision beats 10-day reactions. Lesson 8. Think in decades, not days. The poor check the market hourly. The wealthy think in decades. That's not laziness, it's elite strategy. Wealth doesn't grow in panic, it grows in patience. Selling in fear isn't financial management, it's emotional immaturity. The rich aren't glued to news headlines, they're glued to long-term principles. They don't win because they know every dip. They win because they zoom out. If your investments can't survive 10 years, they're not investments, they're bets. Most people chase flashes. The rich build machines. They don't check value daily. They build value patiently. Long-term vision isn't boring. It's brutal. And it's the reason empires rise. Short-term thinking is the virus that infects financial potential. The masses want quick wins, fast flips, instant validation. That addiction is why they lose. They react instead of reflect. They chase dopamine instead of compounding. The wealthy don't flinch at downturns. They expect them. They don't panic in recessions. They position. Every market drop is a sale, not a signal to flee. Time exposes everything. It destroys hype and rewards discipline. The goal isn't to feel good today, it's to be free 10 years from now. And that means ignoring noise, trusting your thesis, and playing a game no one else understands. Stop asking, how much did I make this week? Start asking, what am I building over this decade? That single question will destroy 90% of bad financial decisions. It will clarify your actions and cleanse your temptations. When you think long, you move different. You don't buy out of fear. You don't sell from stress. You don't need to be right all the time. You just need to stay in long enough for your strategy to prove itself. Wealth isn't built through genius. It's built through time. If you don't give time enough room to work, it won't work for you. Emotional discipline is the real ROI. Lesson 9. Emotional discipline is ROI. The market doesn't make you lose money. Your panic does. A red chart doesn't erase your wealth. Your reaction does. People don't go broke from numbers. They go broke from fear. Emotional chaos is the most expensive thing you'll ever own. The wealthy aren't emotionally bulletproof. They're behaviorally armored. They don't let feelings dictate financial action. They install rules. They automate decisions. They trust process over panic. Winning isn't about IQ. It's about staying calm when others lose their minds. When you act from emotion, you sabotage. When you act from principle, you build. Control your fear, or it will liquidate your future. The calmest investor usually wins, not because they're smarter, but because they breathe before reacting, because they wait before deciding, because they don't trade headlines, they trade strategy. Discipline isn't heroic, it's methodical. Most losses come not from bad investments, but from bad timing. Timing driven by emotion, driven by dread, driven by envy, driven by greed. The rich develop habits that train emotional control. They don't check their portfolio every hour. They don't make decisions when adrenaline spikes. They don't feed their financial system junk. They feed it stability. And stability compounds, just like interest, just like freedom. Emotional discipline won't show up on a spreadsheet, but it determines every number on it. It's not just about percentages, it's about survival. Financial storms are inevitable, but your collapse is optional. The goal isn't to eliminate emotion, it's to outsmart it. Write your rules. Trust them. Stick to them when it's hardest. Because anyone can invest, but not everyone can stay invested. Your wealth isn't measured by how much you make. It's measured by how little you ruin. Emotional chaos is expensive. Clarity is priceless, and clarity only comes when you stop reacting and start commanding. Wealth follows identity, not income. Lesson 10. Identity over income. Many believe income determines wealth. It doesn't. Some earn 6 figures and stay broke because they spend like addicts. Others earn modestly and build quiet empires. The difference isn't earnings, it's identity. Who do you believe you are? A consumer or a creator? A victim or a builder? Your self-image writes your financial blueprint. If you see yourself as a spender, you'll spend. If you see yourself as an investor, you'll plant. Identity governs behavior, and behavior governs results. Most people don't need more money. They need a new self-concept. You won't hold on to wealth if your mindset rejects it. Identity is the compass behind every financial decision. Owners think differently. Builders move differently. Investors ask, does this align with who I'm becoming? Not, can I afford it? They make intentional decisions, not reactive ones. That single shift changes everything. It reframes spending, saving, investing, and learning. The wealthy don't just accumulate money, they embody wealth. They dress, act, plan, and behave like people committed to growth, not performance, evolution. If your calendar reflects consumption instead of creation, your results will do the same. Income is unstable. But a strong identity creates stability, and stability creates scale. You want money to stay? Become someone it wants to stay with. That starts with your habits, your inputs, your vision. Wealth isn't about chasing, it's about attracting. And attraction starts with becoming the kind of person who multiplies what they touch. Don't just ask, how do I get rich? Ask, who must I become to stay rich? One builds income, the other builds legacy. When you build identity, you don't just make money, you design a life it won't want to leave. That's not motivational fluff. That's economic law. Be the kind of person wealth can trust, and it will follow. You're not broke because you lack money. You're broke because you've been living under the rules of the average, spending without thinking, waiting without acting, reacting without strategy. The world owes you nothing, but it will reward those who take control, who build identity, who behave with power. This isn't theory, it's your wake-up call. Every lesson you've read is a weapon. Use them, or be used by your old habits. Wealth isn't something you win, it's something you become. Now that you've seen the game, the only question left is this. Will you change the way you think, or stay loyal to the version of you that's been quietly keeping you poor? Choose wisely. The next move is yours.